The gold-plated key slid into the lock, a sound of familiar comfort. But what greeted me on the other side was a heart-stopping question. What if the home you grew up in suddenly wasn't yours anymore, and your parents were nowhere to be found? I thought I was surprising my parents for Easter with flowers and chocolate. What I found instead surprised me to my core. My sister had not only moved in, but had kicked them out, making them live in the garage like homeless people, an act of betrayal so cold it physically made my stomach clench. Growing up, we were a happy family. Our home, a sanctuary filled with the scent of my mother's baking and the echo of my father's classic rock, was the cornerstone of my life, a memory Cassandra seemed determined to dismantle. My sister, Cassandra? She's 2 years older, loud, dramatic, always in and out of trouble. She's sunshine. She can smile while destroying your life, a skill she seemed to be mastering with terrifying efficiency. Anyway, this year I decided to surprise my parents for Easter, taking the early flight and bringing a ridiculous bouquet of pastel tulips that now felt absurdly cheerful given the circumstances. But when I came to this house, nothing. The windows were dark and the porch swing wasn't moving, which was unusual for a holiday afternoon. I stood there puzzled. Maybe they went out? But they never go out on Easter. It was their tradition to host a small, quiet dinner. I knocked. No answer. The silence of the house felt heavy, like a threat. I still had my old key, so I let myself in. The air inside was wrong. It smelled of stale beer and a cheap, overly sweet air freshener. The furniture was all different. Heavy, dark pieces I'd never seen before replaced our light, comfortable sectional. And most painfully, the family photos were gone too, the blank spaces on the walls screaming of erasure. I stood there, heart racing, a frantic voice in my mind asking, did I go to the wrong house? Then I heard her voice, unmistakable and sharp. Cassandra, wait, you didn't tell me your sister was coming. Her tone was careless, as if I were a minor inconvenience, not the daughter of the people she'd displaced. Then a guy laughed, a hollow, sneering sound. What, the golden goose? She'll be gone by morning. That insult, the golden goose, was a raw cut, a reminder of their resentment because I left and built a life that didn't involve constantly fixing their messes. I didn't know what I was looking for, but a flicker of movement caught my eye. Then I saw the light through the side window, the garage. My heart dropped, recognizing the awful truth. I opened the side garage door slowly, the squeak of the metal a grating sound in the quiet afternoon. There my parents were, huddled against the cold concrete floor, a scene of shocking indignity. My dad was sitting on a plastic stool, fixing an old cabinet hinge, his shoulders slumped in resignation. My mom was in a folding chair wearing her heavy winter coat inside, her face pale. The small space was cluttered with boxes, a single bare light bulb hanging overhead. "Oh," she said softly, her voice thin with surprise and shame. "Honey," I said. "Mom, what is this?" My voice was barely a whisper, thick with disbelief. She looked down at her hands, twisting her fingers together. "It's temporary." My dad didn't even discover. "Your mom's cold. I told her to wear gloves," he mumbled, his focus on the hinge, a desperate attempt to create normalcy in the absurdity. "Why are you out here?" I said, stepping fully into the cold garage air, my mind reeling, my voice cracked. "What happened?" They looked at each other, a silent, deeply tired conversation passing between them. Then my mom said, "It's nothing. Cassandra and Nathan just needed some space," the lie tasting bitter even on her tongue. "In the house?" I said, the irony of the situation burning. "They're fixing it up," my mom whispered, looking around at the makeshift camp. "Just for a while." I just looked at my mom, seeing the humiliation etched on her face, and said, real quiet, my voice suddenly steely with resolve, "Pack a bag. I'll be back in an hour." She twinkled, a flicker of hope in her eyes. "What?" "You heard me. Just the essentials." My dad set down his screwdriver, finally looking up, his eyes meeting mine. "Where are we going?" "You're not staying in this garage another night, not one more hour." 10 minutes later, my resolve hardening with every mile, I drove them to the nicest hotel in town. the lobby smelling of expensive perfume and fresh linen. "One room, 2 beds, full week," I said at the front desk, watching my parents gaze at the chandelier above them as if they had just landed on Mars. Back at the garage, I walked in with the key card and a smile that didn't quite reach my eyes. "We're leaving now," I said, their meager belongings packed into 2 duffel bags. Once they were tucked into clean sheets with heat, cable, and real pillows, I went home, to my hotel room, and opened my laptop. I'm a contracts manager. Cassandra may play games, but I play by the rules. First, I collected our family's digital files. My parents keep backups on an old thumb drive. Then, my mom and I went back to the garage the next day and opened the locked file cabinet. My mom's eyes widened. "It's okay," I told her. "Just trust me." Inside was everything I needed: property records, tax forms, insurance papers, and the house deed. Cassandra's name was nowhere, just my dad's and mom's, which meant Cassandra, legally, just a guest, and guests can be removed. I texted Cassandra. "Hey, wanna grab lunch tomorrow? Just us?" "Wait, really? You're not mad?" Cassandra asked, surprised. "No, I've been thinking. We should talk," I replied cryptically. She invited me in the cafe in a beige trench coat and too much lipstick. "I'm so glad you reached out. I know it's been tense, but I think we're finally on the same page." I smiled. "I think so too." We ordered. I let her talk. About the house, about renovations, about how hard it is being the only one who steps up. I waited until her plate was half finished before I said, "You know, maybe you're right. Maybe Mom and Dad do need help, some structure." Her eyes lit up. "Exactly. That's what I've been trying to say. I even talked to a couple of realtors," I said, pulling out my phone. "If we sell the house, we could put the money toward their long-term care. Maybe even help you and Nathan get your own place." She leaned in. "I knew you'd come around. Also, I recorded this whole conversation." Then I stood up, left a 20 on the table, and walked out without looking back. 3 days later, I returned with a printed removal notice and a police escort. I pulled up to the house with the police escort and walked straight to the front door. Nathan opened it, wearing my dad's robe and holding a mug like he owned the place. He smirked. "You lost, sweetheart?" I listened the notice. "Nope, but you're about to be." Cassandra stepped into view just behind him, her smile fading the second she saw what I was holding. "You can't be serious," she said. "Oh, I'm very serious." "You're not on the deed," I cut in. "You're not on the lease, you're a guest, and guests don't get to control." Nathan let out a laugh, haughty. "You can't remove family." That's when the officer stepped forward and said, "Actually, you've been served. I recommend you read the paperwork." They both went quiet. That afternoon, my dad pulled me aside and handed me a folder. Inside was the house deed. "If anything ever happens to us," he said, "this is yours. You were the one who came back." I hugged him, and for a while neither of us said anything. We didn't need to. As for Cassandra, she's a homeless woman now, staying with whatever friend will still talk to her, claiming that we turned our backs, that we stole her future, that Easter ended with a series of my family dramas, tulips in a vase on the table, and the laugh came back my home. It felt like home again.